something as simple as pirojki, and I'm making this today, you won't need a recipe. For the very first time, I'm making this with precise measurements. Well, I normally would use any leftover yogurt or sour cream I have. I can omit sour cream if I don't have any on hand. And an egg, we always have an egg. So, 1 egg. I already mixed my yogurt and sour cream together. And pirojki normally is made with just yogurt and flour, baking soda. That's the basic pirojki dough. That's how my grandma used to make. But I found that adding a little bit sour cream and just one egg makes the dough even more fluffier, more tender, and I really like the texture of that kind of dough better. So I'm mixing sour cream, the egg together, and I'm adding my baking soda. Arka, enough making noise. Baking soda, and it will start to bubble, of course, and that's normal. A little bit salt, sugar, of course, just to bring the flavors, the taste of that dough together. And I will add as much flour as I need to make this into smooth and non-sticky dough. And by the way, I started already cooking my potatoes. This kind of dough needs to rest about 25 to 30 minutes maximum, as long as it needs for those potatoes to cook. So that's that. And I normally make my potato dough, my pirojki dough, and I really can't find the English version for this appetizer, I'd say. It's mashed potato wrapped with dough, or dough filled with spiced mashed potato. Very delicious, very tasty, very full fat appetizer. And I'll mix with whisker, and then I'll switch to hand. Okay, enough. Alright, so I added 1 cup. So see, I never made this by recipe, but I was asked to show how I make my pirojki, and I'm doing that. Okay, so second and third, probably I'd say 3 to 4 cups of flour, and I'm going to continue kneading on my surface. It's so much easier. This looks ready, and you can pop it back into its own bowl. Just cover it with towel or plastic and just let it rest about 25-30 minutes. And potato is still cooking, so I'll be back in a little bit and we'll continue to the next step. So because nobody likes any onions, any greens, or anything very flavorful in my family, I mean nobody. I don't add too much of spices in this mashed potato mixture. I only add a little bit of cayenne, black pepper, garlic, salt, curry powder works very well with this mixture, and a little bit jalapeno pepper. I already salted, by the way, when it was cooking. I forgot to mention. But traditionally and normally we add sauté onions to this mashed potato mixture, and just with butter and oil. So it's up to you how strong you like the flavor for your mashed potato, either adding garlic or anything you prefer actually. So this will be my family's preferred kind, just minimum amount of spices. And by the way, you can also add some green, fresh greens such as cilantro or dill. I mean anything you prefer, any taste you like your mashed potatoes to be. So that's nothing that's very much important. I mean it's important, okay, but nothing very crucial. So So this is ready. I'll just let it cool down a couple of minutes so I can stuff the dough. And I already preheated the oil. I started preheating the oil. The dough is ready. It rested about 30 minutes or so. And the way you can do your pирожки, you can either roll out the dough or just grab a little bit like a nut size little balls and then flatten and then stuff it. But I find this way you will have more even, if you do it this way, you will have more even sized pирожки, and it's so much better if you try to roll out the dough. And I'm using regular cookie cutter. You don't have one of these, just use glass. So, just roll out into half centimeters, I would say, thickness. And then, of course, cut stuff with potato and avoid using too much flour. And it's so much better when you have someone that's they'll be frying those for you while you make them, because you don't want to let already stuffed stuffed пирожкis sit way too long on the counter. It may get kind of dry, and then when you start frying, they may like kind of pop up and open, and then it's the disaster. So, and you will be frying this seam side down. That's how I would suggest. Alright, this is ready, and my oil is almost ready too. And the way to check if the oil is ready for frying, no, don't do that. You can just drop a little bit of dough into the oil, but I'm not sure if it's ready, so I'll just leave this while I stuff a few. You want me to give it? You want to give this to me? Thank you. And he loves helping, as you may have noticed. And I'm using the smallest size of ice cream scoop to stuff this, to fill this. Just like so. I always forget to slow down and show more specifically. Okay, so I'll do another one. And you want to be sure to kind of seal these edges very firmly. Okay, Arka, you stay there, okay? Okay, this one is ready. I'll just leave it on the side. And this is how I do it. Just grab your dough, ask your helper to give you some potato, like this, and kind of bring the edges together and squeeze them hard, like this. And then with your fingertip you can just slightly press it again, just to make sure you stick this very secure. Okay. That's it. Perfectly looking пирожки. I'll do a couple and then start frying them. Can I have this one myself? Mm-hmm. Thank you. I checked the oil, and when the dough pops up quickly, it means it's ready to fry. And be sure to keep the temperature in moderation. You don't want to have it too high or too low. If it's too low, it will absorb so much oil. You don't want that. If it's too high, it will start burning quickly and the dough may not cook properly. So keep it, mine on my gas stove, I keep it on 8 or 7, the number. I don't know, you just need to adjust according to your oven. And you're going to fry this a couple of minutes on each side until they're nice and golden color. And the reason I suggest to start frying with seam side down first, because when you turn them, they kind of, when they start bubbling and start opening, see, they may kind of open and potato may come out. So it's safer to start frying from seam side down. And these look almost ready. I mean, they are ready. So I'll just take this off and then continue frying the rest. And I will leave detailed recipe for this Pirojki, but I still have something to add in a little bit, so I'm not done yet. So I'm almost done. That's the last one, and I end up having a little bit additional dough, and it always happens because I never actually use a recipe for this. This time it was accidentally. I end up additional dough. With this is my favorite part. You can just slice it into random shapes and fry it as is. It's just gonna nicely puff up, and it's the best for Pirojki. So I'll finish this one up and continue. You would think a 4-year-old would just grab Pirojki by hand and eat it, right? But this one likes with fork and cut, so you can eat it. Alright, so I'm done making the Pirojki, and the kids can't wait. And I wasn't gonna show you this part, but my teenager, my son, who's the biggest fan of this Pirojki, he asked me to make sure show the spice you make for me when he likes his Pirojki with this salt and a little bit citric acid mixture that I make it for him just to spice it his Pirojki. So I'm using a little bit paprika, a little bit cayenne, just a tiny bit of this citric acid, and black pepper, and of course a good amount of salt. So I'm not making too much because I already made him a few days ago when I made Pirojki. So you're going to mix this all together and just sprinkle. Let me grab a not too hot one, and just kind of sprinkle the Pirojki and eat it like this. So delicious. I will leave detailed recipe on my blog at heghineh.com. If you have questions, comments, you know I always repeat the same thing after each video. You like the video, thumbs up, and if you didn't subscribe yet, please remember to subscribe. Thank you for watching.